Well, I've been making pretty good progress on the UglyTruck, the 2001 Silverado that I picked up just a little while ago. Now when I got it, it had a blown 4L60E transmission, so the first thing that I did was swap it to a 4L80. And this thing is running and driving pretty good now, but I've got to do something about the appearance, because when I got it, there were a whole bunch of chrome add-ons on the outside of this truck that just did not look great. So today I'll show you some of the steps I took to improve the looks of the UglyTruck. Now, I can't figure out for the life of me why anybody would put these stupid little fake vents on the side of their car. Ugh, looks like they belong in the 1950s. But that's all right. No harm done. We can make it look better again. So with the plastic off, looks like there's some kind of hard plastic backing. Snaps away, not bad. Now you don't want to grind any of this dirt that collects back here into your paint, so it'll scratch it and make it worse. So I just take some generic cleaner, degreaser, whatever. Don't need to go too nuts. Just kind of clean it up a little bit, get rid of most of the dirt that you can. So make sure the panel doesn't get too hot. Looking better already. Now it's always a little bit scary taking any kind of fender trim or fender flare off of a truck that you just got, because you never really know what was underneath. I've seen some cases where they actually paint the body of the truck and they'll leave the color underneath what it was before. Now clearly this truck hadn't been painted, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised to see the sheet metal underneath the fender flare is actually in much nicer shape than the metal that's on top of it, because the little chrome strip actually protected it from the sun and protected it from fading. So as long as there's no rust on the back, which I don't think there is, we're good to go. This is certainly not the right way, or even a recommended way to peel off a sticker. But I need heat. This is the only thing I have at the moment. Oh man. Not bad at all. Part of me actually feels bad about taking off all of this bright work that the previous owner installed, because, well, you think about it. He probably spent a lot of effort and careful consideration going to the store and picking out the perfect accessory to put on his brand new truck. The chrome door handles were actually factory on some GMT 800 trucks. Those were your Escalades and your Denali's, but not this. This is more of a base model truck. So this is actually just a adhesive backed chrome cover that goes over the stock black plastic door handle. So the tool of choice to remove it is a trusty old flathead screwdriver. One piece at a time is all it takes. So luckily the adhesive actually came off. It kind of stayed mostly on the chrome part. So to finish cleaning this up, all I'm going to do is take a rag and a little bit of WD-40, basically just kind of apply it to the handle. And all I'm really doing is just putting a little bit of shine back into the plastic. A little trick of the trade, or maybe I might have just made it up. Kind of cleans it too, I guess. Good as new. So the very last step of the visual transformation for now is going to be removing the running boards from this truck. And there's a couple different reasons. Number one, they're chrome and I don't like chrome. And number two, they're really useless because this truck is fairly low already, being a two-wheel drive, and it's gonna get even lower. So they've gotta go. I think a plastic bed liner is about the worst thing that you could put in the back of any truck. Number one, they're just filthy. They just kind of hold water, let mold and all kinds of other nasty stuff grow in there, and I just don't like them. But the worst part is actually what happens underneath. Because they're not permanently attached to the bed, you've got all sorts of opportunity for all kinds of stuff to collect underneath the bed liner. Now, in this one, when I was walking around in the bed, I kept hearing this crunch, crunch, crunch of what sounded like gravel. And as it turns out, that's exactly what it was. Over the years, somebody's probably filled the back end of this truck with dirt a whole bunch of times, and there's quite a bit of it still left underneath the bed liner. So we're gonna get this thing cleaned out and hosed out and give it a new lease on life. Initially, I was just going to call it a day after I got all the chrome trim off the outside of the truck, but there's one more thing that I just couldn't stand looking at, and that was the stock wheels. They were 17-inch steel wheels that had the 8-hole design in them, and again, I just couldn't stand looking at them. So I went out and I found a set of 18-inch aluminum factory wheels from a 2014 Silverado. So there are a few reasons why I prefer to run a factory style wheel on a truck like this. Number one is fitment. They bolt right on and they have a hub-centric bore, so there's no vibration. Number two, they're generally a lot less expensive than a complete aftermarket set of wheels and tires. And number three, well, if you pick the right set of factory wheels, they just look great. Well, I've got to say, I'm really happy with how the truck looks now. All I really did was change the wheels and take off some chrome, but visually it's made a pretty big difference. Now, from here on out, I'm actually not going to change a whole lot about the outside appearance of the truck. Yeah, it'll get a little bit lower, but I'm really kind of digging the ugly vibe. Like, it's kind of, I don't know, classy but ugly, if there is such a thing. So the very last thing that I noticed when I was putting the tire on the driver's side front end is the inner tie rod had about 1/4 of an inch of play in it. Basically, the whole front end of this truck is shot and it needs to be rebuilt. I'll handle that next time along with the suspension. I'll probably lower it down a little bit at the same time. But until then, I just want to say thanks for watching and ask that you please subscribe and hit the like button. Until next time, I'm LT.